Hi. Have you ever thought about what is home? Like literal term home. Like what does it mean? You know, is this a place where you were born or where your family lives maybe afterwards? Or is it something more like a feeling or a warmth or sense of familiarity? We use the word home very casually, but when you think about it deeply, it becomes very hard to explain it properly. You know, when you move through different places and different cities and different countries, you start meeting different versions of yourself. And at some point, you wonder if I keep finding myself again and again in new forms, is that not a kind of home? Like the versions I'm meeting of myself with different people, is that not home? Is that not part of home? Maybe home isn't fixed to geography, like not to a specific place. Maybe it moves with us. And but then there is another layer to this. Sometimes home isn't a place at all. Maybe it's a person. Not because they belong to us, not because they stay forever, but because around them we feel understood without any efforts. Like we feel safe enough to be unfiltered, like we just talk our mind out loud, and we don't feel if we are getting judged in front of that person. We forget time, it's kind of like you don't care about basic survival needs, and we forgot the need to perform, which we are performing all the time. And that raises a very difficult question if you think about, if someone can feel like home, why don't all homes last? Why? We often assume that closeness guarantees meaning or purpose in life, right? But that's not always true. Some connections need distance to remain what they are. Some bonds exist not to be possessed, but to be experienced in that space and time. And that's uncomfortable, I know, because we are taught that if something is meaningful, we should hold on to it, right? But what if meaning doesn't come from permanence? That's a quite idea across many philosophies, especially Eastern thought, that not everything really is meant to stay forever. Impermanence doesn't erase significance. In fact, sometimes it creates meaning and significance in life. Like how a moment becomes precious precisely because it doesn't repeat, because it's special in that time. We often struggle to name these connections because they are not easily labeled as love or friendship or anything that the world gives us words for, and yet we feel them deeply, we live them, we experience them. That makes us question, it's something less real because it doesn't fit a category, or is it more real because it exists beyond one? Like these kind of questions makes me wonder about this life, this beautiful life we have got. And obviously sometimes it's not the same all the time, sometimes it's shitty and all this shit. So at some point we realize something very important about home, that not all homes are meant to be lived in forever. Some are places we visit internally and we carry with us, and letting go doesn't mean that the connection was weak. Sometimes it means it was strong enough to change us. There's a strange peace that comes with understanding this. To know that you don't need to own a connection for it to matter. Some experiences like shape us once, and that's enough. So maybe home is not where we stay. Maybe home is what teaches us how to feel alive, or how to see ourselves clearly, or how to love without control. And maybe the most honest thing we can do is let some homes remain memories, just let them go. Not because they failed, obviously not, but because they completed their purpose. So, in the end, I'll leave you with this one question: what or who has felt like home in your life, even if it didn't stay? Thank you.